to witness history, to be amazed, to be a part of unforgettable moments.
Puts it in, and a foul! Wow!
From the world's biggest stage, this is an MSG special.
Jeremy Lin from downtown! Amazing!
Jeremy Lin, to the point. Hi, I'm Spiro Ditas. Not too long ago, New Yorkers knew next to nothing about 23-year-old Jeremy Lin. But today in the city and around the world, it is impossible to escape the spirited celebration of his name. Tonight, Jeremy Lin sits down to talk about his overnight meteoric rise from the end of the bench to starting point guard for the New York Knicks to rising NBA star. How it happened so fast and what he thinks of the insanity that's followed. In your wildest dreams, did you think that it could get to this level?
No. No, I mean, I've dreamed of hitting game winners. I've dreamed of playing in the NBA. I had no idea it would be like this. And this is beyond my wildest dreams.
Why were you overlooked, do you think?
I mean, several reasons. I mean, first of all, just being Asian American, obviously, you're not going to be able to only prove yourself one time and have everyone believe, just because of the way I look. It's going to have to be again and again and again, and there's going to always be doubters, and I'm going to have to constantly prove myself above and beyond. But, you know, I think the one thing that I've learned is I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody anymore. I spent all the last year trying to do that, and it made me miserable. And now I just try to play the right way, and I can live with what anybody says. You know, anybody else on it. Whatever they say, I'm okay with it at this point.
How has your life changed for those of us that don't see it just away from the court, you know, being Jeremy Lin now day to day?
It's just changed overnight. It's different now. People, the way they treat me is very different, and whether it's right or not, you know, that's just how it is. And, you know, there's a lot of people who, you know, are very nice to me and kind to me, and they've seen the Knicks play, and so and then, you know, obviously less privacy.
Is it tough walking down the street these days?
You know, sometimes, you know, I may get recognized or at a time when, you know, I'm just trying to enjoy my family or, you know, do something private, but, you know, I appreciate that too. At the same time, it's like the city loves basketball, they love their team, and how could you not appreciate that and want that from a city who supports your team?
What's been the reaction like from fans, you know, at the Garden, coming in and out of the building, out in public the few times you've had a chance to have some free time, for a fan base that's been so starved for a winner, and now to finally kind of have this star that's fallen into their lap and have the team start to show some success?
I think it's it's a lot of fun because the Garden has positive energy. And when they have positive energy, when the fans come and they come out in full force, we feed off that, and we're just a different team at home right now. And we love playing there, and at the same time, we have to keep things in perspective. We're still 15-15. We're barely in the playoffs. We're barely 500, and we have a long way to go. And so we just got to keep focused and continue to grind this thing out.
There's been stories that we've heard the last couple of days of people who weren't Knicks fans 2 weeks ago, weren't even basketball fans a couple of weeks back. Now suddenly they can't wait for the next Knicks game, get in front of the TV and watch you play. How does that make you feel? I have to imagine that that's wild to have that kind of impact on people who aren't really sports fans, that just kind of relate to your story.
Yeah, I think I'm humbled because I was that same kid watching other people play basketball. Michael Jordan or whoever it might be, and even though he wasn't Asian American, I still remember just, you know, counting down the time until the game started. And you know, I just hope that my story can help other people and inspire other people to make their own story. And you know, anything I can do to help, I'd love to. And I'm just thankful to all the fans and everybody who support us and our team.
Take me back to Super Bowl weekend. You know, there are rumors that you could be a couple of days away from being cut. You really hadn't been given a chance. Coach D'Antoni obviously was still looking for the right chemistry with the team struggling. The Boston game was the first game in which you were put in early with a chance to see what you could do. You know, not a garbage time situation. But what was your mindset at that point?
I was just going to try to give my best effort, play as hard as I could. I mean, I had been training during the off season, I felt like I did everything I could to put myself in the best possible position to succeed, and from there, just play as hard as I can and be okay with where everything ends up, and I'm glad it ended up the way it did.
We know that after the Boston game, you were a little disappointed with how you played. It was your first shot. So that night, you spent the night at Landry's, close to the facility, wanted to get to the facility early the next morning. Did you have any idea that was the day of the Nets game where, of course, everything changed and this incredible story started for you? Did you have any inkling that Coach was going to give you another shot in that New Jersey game and that this was around the corner?
I figured he would give me another shot because it was a back-to-back-to-back. And that's, if it wasn't a back-to-back-to-back, I probably wouldn't have played. But, that's the way it worked, and so I figured I'll probably get another chance. I was hoping for another chance, and I needed that bad because, I don't know, I probably wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for that.
How do you explain what happened in that Nets game? A guy who couldn't get off the bench, a couple of days away from being waived, to coming into the game at the Garden of all places and performing the way he did. How do you explain that?
I just got in a flow. I think that's the most important thing. Is everyone is, as basketball players, if we get in the flow and we're comfortable and confident, that's when we play our game. And I was thankful that I was able to do that. And obviously, miraculous timing.
What did it feel like after that Nets game, walking into the locker room? Because you just talked about the doubt, your confidence being down. Suddenly, you got 25 points. Everyone's asking who Jeremy Lin is. What did it feel like after that game?
It felt good just to I played with so much emotion that night just because there's so much emotion bottled up, so much frustration bottled up from last year. And I remember in that game, it just felt like I was breathing again, like liberated again, and just being able to play with the team and have fun. And afterwards, it was just a huge sigh of relief and just a lot of gratitude.
Did you feel like you had answered whatever questions you had in your mind, that you could belong with this team and you could play at this level and be maybe even a star?
I think that was a big step towards that in terms of building my confidence, just because that was my breakthrough game, and there's nothing better than a breakthrough game. And so after that, I was like, okay, this, I can build on this, I can keep getting better, and I just try to take that same approach into the second game.
Take me to the Laker game. A couple of days later, of course, you're still rolling. The team's starting to play well. All of New York is galvanized by what they're seeing. But the Laker game, I think you'd agree, is the game that really kind of launched it into another stratosphere. What was that night like, the electricity in the Garden, and how do you explain what happened that night?
I was just a magical night, to be honest. I was in a groove, and I was able to get comfortable, see my shots go down. And from there, just keep it rolling and keep attacking. And they were tired coming off of, they had a lot of games in a short amount of time. And so they played the night before as well. And so we were able to kind of move the ball and stay space and create.
What was it like, a couple of those sequences in the second half after what you had done? Kobe decided to switch on to you and decided to guard you for a couple of those runs in the second half. What was that like? And was there any talk from Kobe? Did he say anything to you on the court?
He didn't say anything to me. I don't think he knew who I was, according to a few interviews. So, for me, I was just trying to be aggressive. I didn't really care who was guarding me. I just wanted to make sure I continue to put pressure on the defense and do my best to create plays. And that was just my focus, regardless of who was guarding me.
Kobe said after the game that a talent like Jeremy Lin doesn't just fall out of the sky. He's been here the whole time, but the rest of us didn't pay attention. He was right under our noses, and we didn't really pay attention to who he was. Did you feel like that? Like you had skill, you had the talent level, but you were just being overlooked at every level that you were playing?
To be honest, yeah, I felt overlooked a lot of times. And I felt, I felt like I wasn't always given the benefit of the doubt or what it meant, whatever it may be. But my family and friends, they did a good job of helping me look past that. And, I'm glad it happened that way because that set everything up for me to be able to come to New York. And, obviously New York right now, looking back, a wonderful opportunity. Very thankful that I'm here, and it was just another step for me, and I'm just glad I'm here.
The other night in Toronto, was there any doubt in your mind that you were taking that last shot?
Lin puts it up. Bang! Jeremy Lin from downtown, and the Knicks take the lead.
Once I got the ball, I said, I'm going to shoot this. We were just so excited, not just because of the shot, but just because we gave ourselves a chance to win, and the team willed themselves back into the game. We were down 17, but when it came down in the fourth quarter, we clamped up defensively, and we did a great job.
When we return, Jeremy's unusual sleeping habits. So, Jeremy, I have to ask you the question that I think is on the minds of every New Yorker. On Jeremy Lin, To the Point.